So welcome. CELTIC-NEXT is the EUREKA. So EUREKA, I will explain a little bit more about EUREKA. It's a network of countries that is organizing the co-funding of innovation, originally in Europe, but then larger than Europe. And EUREKA has several clusters grouped in a program called ECP, 5 clusters, and CELTIC-NEXT is one of them. It's the one looking at ICT with a strong, let's say, major on communications. We have celebrated last year our 21 years of existence. It started 2003. And we had a celebration about it, and you will see some information. So this is the Spring Call 2025 launch event held today. The call is open in the tooling since the 1st of January. I encourage you to have a look to different documents, but we will come back to that and then register for the Brokerage event to present your ideas or find partners and so on. Okay, EUREKA. It's the world's largest or biggest public network of countries with over 45 countries, including Canada, Chile, Singapore, South Africa, South Korea. This slide could be updated. We have got now Brazil signing in the EUREKA network. It is international R&D&I collaboration that enables EUREKA countries to tackle the global challenge and increase competitiveness, and it's really very good. So I hear some noise in the background, so Audrey, please mute everyone. Thank you. Transnational network facilitating the coordination of national priorities and innovation and providing access to national funding. So since 1985, so it's quite old, now we could even say more than 50 billion euro public-private investment has been organized with over 7,000 R&D projects and 35,000 different organizations supported. It has several programs. One of them is the Clusters program. Clusters are industry-led communities consisting in leading companies, knowledge institutes, and end-user organizations. We have strategic technology areas, and we are market-oriented, aiming to solve economic, technological, and societal challenges. So concerning CELTIC-NEXT itself, we have a world industry-driven EUREKA clusters program, ICT, so information and communications with a big C, technologies cluster, non-for-profit, and that's important because I will tackle a subject in the next slides about the reason why it's non-for-profit. And involving all the major ICT industry players, so large operators, service providers, technology providers, lots of SMEs. CELTIC started with something like 20% of SMEs involved in projects. We are now by 60%. It has a lower barrier of entry for the SMEs to be able to collaborate in global international innovation projects. Research institutions like RTOs and academia to enable a secure, trusted, and sustainable digital society. The society is going digitalized, but we need to secure it. We need to increase the trust of the public into this digital society, and it has to be sustainable, not digest all resources of the planet, and making also the society sustainable. By the way, we were created in 2003, and the ECP program itself, which has regrouped the clusters together into one organization for the, let's say, the funding on calls organization has been launched in June 2021. It's more recent than the clusters themselves. So now how or where we are in the global landscape of innovation and funding. So as you can see on the screen on the right side, you have a national programs. So if you look at ICT and very, let's say, mobile-oriented research, for example, you have a 6G flagship, you have a 6G platform, you have Business Finland with a future and future network services. In Netherlands, Business Finland is supporting the 6G bridge Finnish consortium, or let's say initiative, national initiative around 6G, Germany's platform program, and the 6G flagship also is supported at national level. On the opposite side, you have the European Commission's led programs like Horizon, and the Industry Association 6G IA is regrouped with now with the Commission's, they coordinate and co-support the 6G SNS GU office, and you have programs or sub-programs, support actions like SNS ICE running there. And for the non-terrestrial networks, you have the ESA programs, the European Space Agency. And EUREKA is sitting in the middle. So it is an international collaboration field where different countries, participants can collaborate together, but still following national priorities, and not the European Commission's ones, but the national priorities of the countries who have registered to EUREKA. And the network of EUREKA is larger than Europe. It's now 47, 48 nations that have registered. So it's much larger than the European Commission, and it covers the world. You will see another slide about this. So since 2003, we have built a community of over 1,150, it's even something like 1,200 private public entities that have collaborated through projects within CELTIC. CELTIC had 3 phases, CELTIC, CELTIC plus CELTIC-NEXT. We are in CELTIC-NEXT phase now, including industry leaders, SMEs, research institutions, academia. We organize biannual project calls. We are speaking here of a spring call, and there's an autumn call. Usually the deadline of the autumn call is October, end of October. And we organize also, and this is a specialty from CELTIC compared with colleagues from the other clusters, we organize also larger flagship calls / projects that are a different order of magnitude, and I will explain that later. But here we speak about the one of the biannual project calls with mid-sized projects. Supported by public and private funding for transnational R&D and IO cooperation, and we are open to any organization contributing to European / global ICT research initiatives. The mission and vision of CELTIC is therefore to foster EUREKA collaborative R&D and I program for the ICT community, accelerate the deployment and uptake of advanced ICT services, including 5G, 5G beyond 6G, and make sure that with the native, the upcoming 6G, that we are helping the EUREKA countries to be at the control of 6G definition and development, and the implementation of 6G in services. So you have some achievements here. So on the top, some key numbers that need to be updated. This is from 2021, but you can say that we are now by 190 projects, over 1.350 million of euro of joint investment. Lots of person years, of course, and a larger community, a lot of patents, many countries involved. So it's really producing a lot. It's not that known to everyone, but we are really leading in that field. And you see some last events like in Berlin, the CELTIC Award ceremony for the 6G Berlin. So it was on the 2nd of July. And we had some EUREKA co-chair announcement, because every year the EUREKA network of countries is led by another country. And for the current year, meaning from last July to June this year, it is a joint presidency between Germany and Canada, which is a very interesting setup to enable, let's say, European and Canada cooperation. In further to agreements, you can see we signed some agreements with ESA, we signed also agreements with CELTIC and so on. You will see that more in the next session. So what we do? In fact, we manage an international quality label, and that's important to understand. So we enable international consortia to apply more successfully to national funding schemes, and we assemble them to fund international cooperative innovation. So when you apply to CELTIC, the result is that you get a label that helps you to increase your chances and run your international program with national funding, compared to the European Commissions, which is dictating from top down what you have to do in projects, because they define a roadmap. They exactly say how many projects they want in each of the points of their roadmap. And then you have to tweak your proposal. Here you are completely free, and this is why we say it's bottom up. You come with your ID, and if you reach the threshold of impact, quality, innovation, and so on, so I will explain those criteria in the second presentation, you have a very high chance to get the label and then to get funded in the different countries where your project will be running. So, and then assembling all those financial funding, you will be able to run your international project. So we do those bottom-up calls, we do flagship projects and open calls. So flagship projects are a mixture of top-down and bottom-up. Top-down because there's an area of the SRIA that is selected between the industry and the public authorities, and then it is bottom-up because within this larger area of the roadmap, we apply again the bottom-up approach where good ideas are selected and not just exactly what has been defined during years before. So you have also very good chances to be able to join a flagship project. And then there's a third type of projects or calls that we are running, but this is between several clusters and it's called ECP joint calls. It is when several clusters are working together on one larger thematic. Our community is made of our core group. So those companies are sitting in our board to help us in different manners, like describing the SRIA, defining the SRIA, providing experts for reviewing project proposals and reviewing projects once they are running. And we have the rest of the community who have participated to projects that is also part of our community. And we have a mailing list with news, invitations to some events and so on that we are distributing to this community, and the community is welcome to contribute to the SRIA as well. And this leads every certain amount of years, every 4 years somehow, to an SRIA, what we call mission, vision, and roadmap. We are not working in isolation. As said, we signed agreements with ESA, with SIGGS and SIA, so that we in Europe and larger than Europe, we enable knowledge exchange and SRIA's cross contributions. We leverage funding schemes for the, so let's say participants can leverage funding schemes across the TRL scale from 2 to 9, 8 more, better to say, calls timing alignment when we can align the calls timing, so to avoid collision for you, so that you are not forced to work in parallel on a submission to CELTIC and, for example, to Horizon or to ESA. and we help to go from research to market with this complementarity on TRLs, early adopters, test beds, and so on. And we offer innovative entities the full panel between top-down programs and bottom-up spaces for their collaborative projects. So that's why we are connected together. Now, concerning high-level topics, you can see on the right side, we have very high-level topics like 5G, 6G, Edge, globally ICT, industrial and consumer IoT, AI, cybersecurity. These are just visually very top-level topics that are looked at for projects, and I will come back in a more detailed way on the SRIA. What we offer is opportunities to fund transnational R&D and I consortia. Again, we are not providing the funding, but the label that helps you to get the funding from the public authorities, and public authorities are very tightly connected to us. We sit in the same committee in selecting the projects that get the label and then have a good chance to be financed at national level. We help access to the best companies and knowledge institutes. So it's very important also for SMEs and vice versa. You will see also some more in details about this. Projects initiated by industry in line with national priorities, which is of course helping a lot in getting the national funding across the different countries, a global and trusted cooperation in the communities, and support of experts with industrial viewpoint. So our experts evaluate your proposals, but they are also there to help during the life of a project. If you need some coaching, let's say some ideas, we review projects at different point in the life of a project, mainly the midterm and the final term of the project. And our experts provide some guidance, some help, some recommendations during the life of the projects to achieve your targeted ambitions. I won't read all of this, but you will have the slides. But on the left side, we have our DNA, which is bottom-up. We are really looking at leaving you the space for your research and innovation development so that you define what you want to do. And we are not dictating you what you have to do, but we are welcoming all proposals that are bringing impact, innovation, and so on, close to the market. We are not funding research projects, pure research projects. We are looking at projects that will achieve some commercialization around 3 years after the end of the project. So meaning that if you have a project of 3 years duration from the T0 when you start the project, we expect 6 years after that you will have something on the market coming or with a strong contribution from the project you are proposing. So our experts will look at the impact, will look at the, let's say, confidence that the public authorities can have and we can have that your project will lead to commercial exploitation. We have a high success rate, so the average success is 60% in getting the label, and when being funded, it varies across the years, of course, and it's highly dependent on the quality of proposals. But high quality proposals have a very high success rate. Flexibility, of course, the project's focus can be adjusted to new technological development in the field. That means we have a process called PCR, so project change request, that can be used at any point of the project when you have a change that needs to be validated in, for example, the composition of the consortium. You want to invite an additional company because you feel that they can contribute well to the project. So you just need to tell us and explain and rewrite the project description, adding this company and their contribution. And then we validate that and you can continue with the new setup. You can have an impairment in your project where more, let's say, fragile company, for example, has to leave because it is bankrupt, you can replace and so on. Everything goes through this PCR. You find a new work use case and you want to add a work package, for example, with additional participants, you can do that. You discover there is a new technology you could use and you want to use that instead of the one you propose at the origin of a project, you can do that as well. So everything works through this PCR process, project change request, and we just validate with our experts and with the public authorities. And if we all agree, then you can run the project further with a new setup. On the right side, this is what it brings to you, and it depends who you are. If you are an SME, you are exposed to larger companies and to research institutes and so on, not only at national level, but also international level. And this can help you in increasing, for example, your exposure to those companies that can help you opening commercial channels in their countries or because of their size and so on. If you are a large company, you can find SMEs where you can de-risk some of your research through those SMEs or startups. You can have very useful collaborations with RTOs, academia. It's a good way for academia to transfer intellectual property from their labs to industry. So there are many, many combinations. And in the same project, you can have several of those combinations. So I won't go further into these details, but you can read that from the handout sides. Don't look at the map. The most important information is on the left side. So you have Europe in the large sense, UK, Canada, Chile, South Korea, South Africa, Singapore, Brazil, and there will be more countries to come in the next years. There's a plan from EUREKA to acquire new participants. There's a look at South America to add more countries in South America than Brazil and Chile. There are some discussions with other countries. The only point is countries who are, let's say, looking at a non-fair, non-passive or pacific way of working. You can imagine which ones in the current situation are forbidden in projects. Another point is if you have a project where you have at least 2 countries from the EUREKA network of countries participating, you can add a 3rd country or more that are not in the network from EUREKA. This is a specificity also from our program. So you could add an African country that is not there or a South American in advance to their agenda and so on, as long as they are funded by their countries. The participants from those countries can be in a CELTIC project. We are running 2 calls per year. So this is the spring call and there's an autumn call. On the right side, you see the dates. The proposals brokerage day will be on the 24th of February. The deadline for proposal is on the 25th of April. And we have a label notification around mid-June this year. By the way, this little diagram here, if you go on our website, you can click on each of the boxes to understand what is each of this phase of the process. So you get more information there. So this is another way to look at the deadlines. But a very important message on this slide is that prior to the proposal you will make on the 25th of April, please contact as early as possible the public authorities of the countries you consider for your consortium, because they have their, let's say, national rules, they have their input to give to you, and they can then be also early aware of your proposal, which will help speeding the process of evaluating it. And you can also, and this is very good, collect a first feedback from them to make the best proposal possible. And this can be achieved by contacting the public authorities, delegates that are working with CELTIC, and you will find those contacts in this website page that we have made for you. receiving their opinion early can avoid mistakes in your proposal, of course, and improve your chances to get the label by aligning with their national priorities and funding schemes. Because you will have, for example, let's say you have 3 countries in your project. There's one country where you have only 1 participant, and another country you have several participants, and so on. And so in that country where you have several participants, maybe how you build the local consortium in this country has to follow some rules from this country. So the earlier you get those indications, the best you can tweak your consortium in that country. For the country where there's only 1 participant, for example, and it was an academic participant, maybe this country does not finance directly an academic participant, but can do it through a company. So you still have time to find an SME or an industrial party in this country that will subcontract this academic that you need in your project and so on. So there are very high, let's say, positive impact in contacting those public authorities in advance to your proposal submission. Now, what we expect as type of project. Usually those bottom-up call projects, they have an average size of 4 to 15 participants in one consortium across the several countries. So it can be large industry, SMEs, RTOs, academia, public bodies can also be involved, like municipalities. And this is a complete free mix that you can have. We have projects where we have only SMEs. We have projects where we have academia and SMEs or large industry and so on. The only thing that we can't support is a pure RTO-based project or pure academic project. It must be industry-led. So you have to have a leading work or a very strong involvement of the large industry or SMEs and or together in your project to be able to have RTOs and academia and public bodies, of course. From the terms of number of countries, please don't give us project proposals with only 1 country. It's an international program. I'm sorry to insist on that. It looks logical when we speak about international cooperation that you have more than 1 country, but in the last call we had again 3, 4 proposals where there was only 1 country. So they have, of course, immediately rejected, not even contacted back, because it's an international program. You can't apply with just 1 country. 2 countries is the bare minimum, because that's the rule of EUREKA. You have to have 2 countries of the network into your project. So therefore, we recommend to start with 3, not just 2, because with 3, if 1 country is not funding the project, you still have 2 countries that could run, for example, a revised project with only the 2 countries remaining. So please start with 3 and go up to 7. It could be even more. That's not a big problem, but it is a mid-sized project, so you have to think about the management effort. If it's a mid-sized project having more than 7 countries, meaning 7 participants, if it would be only 1 participant per country, it starts to be already a little bit difficult. So think about the management effort. We are looking at market and tech value chains. We want to see in the projects the full end-to-end technology value chain, vertically, horizontally, to demonstrate full end-to-end services, mainly horizontally, but it's also good to have a vertical chain and full market value chain representative partners on board to demonstrate the market impact relevance. So for example, if you start to do a proposal around electronic health, or I don't know, energy or industry and so on, and you have no partner from those fields of application in the project, we will start doubting about the validity of your assumptions concerning the requirements for those fields of application, because no one from those fields are in the project to help you with requirements and also experimenting in real case. So of course, we look at end-to-end value chain, and since it's near to market, you don't have a chance to redo your project to adapt to the market requirements once you get to know them. We don't want you to experiment market failure. So please involve the end users in terms of B2B into your project. In terms of budget and duration, we look at projects between 3 and 15 million euro. Avoid really to make smaller projects because there are over instruments for those smaller projects within EUREKA, and also because it is involving a lot of management also on our side and the side of public authorities, and we want to avoid having a too high number of small projects to manage. And 15 million euro you could go over, but then it's not anymore really a mid-size project. So between 3 and 15 million is ideal. Duration between 24 and 48 months, with a typical duration of 3 years, so 36 months. And don't underestimate your work. That means sometimes we have projects that have a very strong idea on what we want to do, a very attractive program targets and so on, but they are underestimating a little bit the effort to be done to reach those targets, and they have to ask a prolongation during the project's life. So from 2 to 3 years prolongation, and then it is of course much more administrative headache to do that. It is possible to do it through the PCR mechanism, of course, but try to avoid it by estimating right your effort and the duration according to this effort in your project. Now, we have a strategic roadmap, as we said. You can see here we are basing our SRIA on those board members and the community. You have here, I won't go in details to each of them, but you have fundamental technologies inside the ICT field that we are looking at, and this diagram is not exhaustive. Based on those technologies, our ICT cluster is supporting the digital society, which is made of those application fields. Again, also not exhaustive. And so you can come with things that are not in this diagram, but they are in the SRIA, or you have new ideas, new field of implication that we haven't collected in our SRIA, and we are open to your ideas anyway. So the SRIA is indicative. It's welcome if you use it and if you base it, but we are really bottom up. That means everything in the SRIA is fine. And outside of the SRIA, it's also good if you demonstrate the same quality as if it would be with one of the topics of the SRIA. I won't read all of this, you will have it, but inside the ECP, we had to define the fields of applications, the basic technologies, and so on. And this is what we have done in 2021. This has been updated in the meantime in the real application world. And we will update our SRIA and publish a new one in July, most probably. So we will use the first half of this year to update our SRIA from 2021. So there will be more topics there, but this is a very good indication already. Main technical areas of research and innovation, and then enabling technologies for the previous field. So you have to look it from top to down in terms of layers of work. So if you start with the fields of application, then you go down to, the previous one, to the areas of technical research, and then the fundamental, more enabling technologies. Again, it's not fully exhaustive here, but it's a first good indication. In addition to that, in 2025, we are looking at the digitalization of the economy. So we have this SRIA large coverage, but we have also public authorities indicating us their wishes, because they are funding those topics in their national calls. So I will go through them here. Digitalization of the economy thanks to ICT. So it's a very large topic. Clean growth and sustainability, remote health and care, ICT for Industry 4.0 and logistics, consumer and industry IoT, ICT technologies for metaverses, typically how the network, including edge computing, for example, and so on, can support metaverses, industry metaverses mainly. Let's say also the metaverse that you could see in some large public areas, but we are really looking at the industrial one in B2B matter. Private networks, including industrial and leisure. Critical comms for emergency and rescue services, non-terrestrial networks and terrestrial networks convergence, for supporting services in ubiquity, critical resilient infrastructures and cybersecurity, Open RAN, edge computing, and so on. AI for ICT and networks, like radio massive MIMO, Open RAN RICS, AI RAN. We are looking at AI in two directions in CELTIC. What AI can do for ICT and networks, and how ICT and networks can support AI better. And this is how we are looking at AI. We are not looking at AI like developing the new AI, machine learning, or the new AI fundamentals. Our colleagues from ITEA are a better cluster for those things, but we are looking here at AI for ICT and networks in both directions. And 5G advanced and 6G topic sensing, location, combination of all of those things together. So really in the new SRIA, because the 6G was not too much in the previous SRIA because it was not even started in the discussions. No one knew what 6G would be, and we are near to market, so it was not the right point in 2021 to already put 6G. 6G is now starting to crystallize around some topics in the standardization. So it's the right time now to put 6G on the agenda and have more projects around 6G. We have already projects around 6G, but now we will increasingly request projects around 6G. And again, it goes along our mission, which is making sure that EUREKA's countries are leading the game in 6G. So as usual, our proposal that address any of the topics of the CELTIC roadmap in this bottom call are welcomed, plus those indications here. And others if you want. As a conclusion, please join the CELTIC-NEXT community, apply for transnational funding for our calls. You will get a recognized international label to your innovations. We also run awards that can be used as a sign of quality of your projects and help you leverage a new funding behind. Don't be restrained to a specific limit to your innovation project. It's bottom up, not top down. Get a larger visibility for collaboration for SMEs with big companies, for big companies to get to know small companies that can increase their portfolio. Gain commercialization channels for SMEs and RTOs as well. Accelerate your time to market by increasing your TL in a near to market funding scheme. And this is really the main point here. And collaborate easily outside of Europe because it is a network that is larger than Europe, so take the occasion. We have even projects which make collaborating South Korea with Canada. So, and with some European participation. So we are really global. So if you need more information, you can contact me or please write to the email here to office. So, but I'm not becoming also a bottleneck here. We have several colleagues, including my colleague Christiane Reinsch, who couldn't make it today, with program, who is working in the office and managing projects and running calls together with me. So you can contact us through the office at CELTIC-NEXT EU, email. And please visit our website. There's a very high amount of information there. So that's for this part of the presentation. I will, if you can put the agenda back on the screen, Audrey.
Yes, for sure. Let me grab it.
So it's 11:15. I think we are a little bit late. I spoke too much as usual. Maybe, do we have questions in the chat? That needs urgent answer. So just one moment.
For now, no. There is Haluk who just asked right now, how about the brokerage event?
Okay, so but we will address this point later on in the presentations and the discussion. So okay, so then I will share again my screen and go for the practical guidance, which is very important as well. Just one moment. I need first to open the presentation. Okay, and presentation mode. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, very good. Okay, so normally it should have been Christiane Reinsch who should have presented this, but she couldn't make it this morning because of the weather conditions here. So sorry for that. So you will have to go with me. So first of all, we are looking at a successful proposal. We want to help you to have the highest success possible in providing us with your proposal. So we have some basics that we are looking at. So you need to target the scope of the CELTIC-NEXT strategic roadmap, plus what I have shown you as the topics for 2025. And if you have something that is not within the research areas and within the list that I've shown on the screen, you can still propose. You won't be discriminated as long as you reach the other criteria that are attached here. So the level of your technological innovation must be high. The market relevance exploitation potential must be high, and you have to follow the right mix of and balance of participating countries and partners. But on the technological innovation, it has to be new, innovative, forward-bringing projects for the community. So don't repeat things that have been done already, of course. Our experts will carefully look at your state-of-the-art description and comparison. So it has to be really innovative, not fundamental research, but a good degree of innovation. Market relevance and exploitation potential, it must return value for money to the consortium and to the funding countries. So every funding country will look at our experts' assessment, and some of them will run their own assessment with technical experts that they will hire on their side to look at what they can expect as a return value for money if they put one public money euro into your consortium, how much they can expect from it. Of course, not with a very precise value, but with a degree of confidence that it will deliver value for money. Follow the rules, so create a good consortium, balanced, different countries and company profiles, and it's welcome if you have RTOs and academia, of course. An RTO can lead the project and academia can lead the project, but if they lead, still it has to have a higher weight of industrial participation. So it can lead because it's mastering the topic, the technical topic, but it has to have a very strong participation from SMEs and industry, a larger industry in the project, so that we are sure that this in academia/RTO-led project will have an impact on the industry and the economy. So it's not a national project with some links abroad. but a true international balanced cooperation, ideally with no more than 60% and never over 75% of effort and or budget in one country only. So don't come with a project where you have one country with, I don't know, 85% of the weight in either budget or effort, and the rest 200% into, so 10%, 15%, for example, is split over one over country or two or three. This will not be accepted. It has to be balanced. So targeting the scope, how we make sure, and you can make sure that we understand you target the scope. When you place your, so just going through the animation now, it will be, oh, sorry. When you will apply, you will see in the tool, you have to select main and major and minor topics from our taxonomy. So the taxonomy is reflecting a little bit or completely our strategic research agenda, and it has categories A, B, C, D, E, so networking, service and application, and so on. And you will have to provide to each major and minor between 1 and 5 for each topics that you can pick from these lists in A, B, C, D, E categories. Ideally, if you have something that is not listed here, you pick one and you explain in your proposal that you have picked this one because it's the nearest one. Again, this might be updated in the coming period. So please use this one. This is the actual one. And based on the return from our community on the new SRIA, we will update those categories and the sub-items. You will have then a reference to this, and again, this diagram, you can click on this research area, there is more description there, and you can download the PDF of this mission, vision, and roadmap. The technological innovation. So it has to be above the state of the art, and it is a key criterion to the expert and the selection of your project for the label and then later on for the national funding. So you have to explain the rationale for the project. Why is this subject of the proposed project important? Which problems will be solved and which results will be generated that are currently not available or available at a higher cost? And you would make then a project that helps democratize a technology or democratize a service where it's not the case today. State-of-the-art situation, describe the current technological situation, the current problems and gaps, and indicate the technological improvements that you want to achieve. Technological innovation and strategic relevance. The strategic relevance and expected impact of your proposal on a per country perspective, what new businesses will be generated. So you have to describe globally what it brings, and for each country that is involved in the project, what could be the benefit for the country? Because if you recall, it's an intergovernmental cooperation. That means that the countries are happy to fund projects that help the cooperation across the countries, but they want also a return for themselves when they fund the project, so at the national level. So please describe both levels. So 50% of the criticism from the cluster experts during proposal evaluation is usually related to the insufficient description of the state of the art. Very important point. So market relevance and exploitation potential, you need to provide a market analysis, a technological value chain, and the added value of the collaboration. The value chain, right mix of partners in the consortium, added value of the cooperation at technological level or technology level, added value at the cooperation at the business level. And consortium partners, partners access to the market. But this is very important to be described because this helps us to understand if the innovation developed in this project will be able to reach the market through the partners' access to the market, through their commercialization channels and so on. These are key aspects to motivate public authorities to fund your project, because those funding that you will get at national level, they are usually addressed to companies who want to increase the export, the GDP, the number of people working in the country, and so on. So you have to describe the value for money here. So key points, some feedback from let's say people who have worked on projects and public authorities who have participated in the funding. They tell us, for example, your CELTIC-NEXT project should be successful and beneficial, and it must be managed and controlled properly in order to achieve this. You need to give confidence to our experts and to the public funders that you will be in control of the project. So a good work package description, the interconnection between the work packages, who will work in what in the project, and let's say the management level, what methods you want to use to manage the project, what tools you might use, and so on. And a good Gantt diagram will help you to provide this confidence to the experts and the public funders. It should be used as a tool to develop your business. So this project, if a project scope is aligned with your strategies and future plans, however, it may take some time to reach commercial success. So in fact, you need to demonstrate, to show in your application that what you are doing in this project is really helping your business. And you have plans for what is developed in this project. So provide a clear outlook on your commercialization plan per product partner and as a whole. Key points number 2, the best practices that help to carry out the project activities properly are based on commitment of the consortium from the beginning to the end of the project. So if you have to build a strong and committed consortium and show clearly its commitment in the proposal. So this is very important to remember that you have to show that every partner in your consortium is committed and will provide input and will benefit from the output. The success of a project relies on 3 actions: deliverable, dissemination, and exploitation of the project activities. Write a good proposal because, sorry, it's not only research, but also business impact, exploitation plan, and dissemination and coordination and work package structure that is important here. So a good proposal is made of all those ingredients. Be aware that there may be changes in the project, so consortium, activities, funding, new technologies, and so on, that might affect the initial plans, not plans, but plans. So this has to be reflected in your project description. So provide a well-described risk analysis section. So a good risk analysis is helping a lot also, because we have then confidence that even if something happens during the project life, you have already foreseen some of the possible incidents and mitigation plans for them. So you have templates. So in the guides, contracts, and forms, you will get the support for writing your application. So you have some guidelines. You have to fill in this CPP, Celtic Project Proposal. Any proposal that will not be following this proposal guidelines, this CPP template, will be rejected because sometimes people just put a slide set or a simple Word document that they have written for some time. We don't accept that. So it's not even the effort to put it into our system. It will be automatically rejected. So you have to fill in not only the fields you will see in the tool, but to provide this Word document based on the CPP form. So you will find the guidelines. There is a lot of documentation also here that you will be able to download. You have to fill in this CPP, and you have to provide us also this CLD document, which is a confirmation letter declaration of acceptance that you can see here, CLD. It has to be signed and submitted by each partner upon proposal submission. and or within the 2 weeks after the proposal has been reached in, because this is the way you accept the terms of the competition, and that you will also follow the terms of the CELTIC support after you get the label and you get funded by the countries or your project is running. Okay, so I don't know why there's an animation here, but this is just to recall the dates. Deadline is 25th of April, is the 15th of April, 25th of April, sorry. You have the 24th of February for the Brokerage event. Before to the submission, you need to register to our clusters projects tool, which is the URL here. Fill in the web forms, download the proposal template, so the CPP and then the CLDs, and upload your CPP document into the tool. The CLDs have to be sent per email, but this is all indicated in the guidelines. So the submission interface here, you have to register. Once you have registered, you can submit a new proposal. Of course, it's not the 23/1, it's the 2025/1 because we're in 2025. You have to select your open call, so it will be CELTIC 2025/1. You have to put the acronym of your project proposal, the project title. There are always some indications, help in the guides. Then a proposed start date, that's the date you foresee to start the projects if you get labeled and funded. And then the planned completion date, so this will determine the length of your project. You have to upload your CPP file in PDF or doc format, docx format. That's mainly what you have to do. It's relatively easy. There are tables to be filled in with the participant companies, RTOs, academia, public bodies, and so on. Their budget table and on so on a year-by-year basis. The proposal evaluation, once you have reached in your proposal and the call is closed, our experts will start evaluating your proposals according to those criteria: excellence, strategic relevance, potential for exploitation, quality and efficiency, exactly what I have explained before, and the quality of the proposed consortium. And they will give an indication of what they recommend the labeling board, if it's suitable for labeling, if there are modifications required before it gets the full label, or if not suitable for labeling. So the state of modifications is in fact explaining that a proposal is good, but it needs some modifications to be good enough to get the label. And this is where you get, after the labeling meeting, a letter from my side telling you, okay, your proposal has been recognized as a good proposal, but you have to do some modifications so that you get the label. And you get 2 months to get that. So once you have updated your proposal according to the recommendations that our experts made to you and the public authorities have made in the labeling meeting, I will reissue your proposal to decision to the public authorities and to the experts on our side. And if you have complied to the modifications we were asking you, then I will declare with allowance, I will declare your proposal as labeled, and you will receive a labeled letter. If not suitable for labeling, then you will receive also recommendations if you want to reapply in a future call. And these recommendations, those evaluations are very detailed. You will see when you will receive it. So Most of our experts are from industry, but they are also from LTOs and academia, and they provide their industry know-how to the proposals. The label decision, as said, is based on technical quality, business relevance, and also national priorities where they exist. And then there's a start of a project, starting and running a labeled project. Some countries will ask you to apply nationally before you apply to CELTIC. Some of them will ask you to apply once you get the label. So that's why it's important to contact them before you apply to CELTIC. The project can start before everyone is funded, because if you can show that with the already, let's say, agreed countries, you can have a critical mass of a project that can start, and with also a logical way. So meaning the people in charge of requirement settings and so on are already able to start working. Then we can give you green light to start the project before you get the full project being funded. So in the last years, we are around by 50% that have started from the labeling. And when a partner becomes active, a running project, he will pay the CELTIC contribution of 1.5% of his budget. So this is where I do the connection back to what I said before. We are providing services to you. So we are running those competitions. We are industry-led, but we don't get money neither from the public authorities nor from the industry. We are completely relying on the fees that we can collect from projects that get funded, that can start. That means that we are exclusively the office of CELTIC, and the CELTIC competitions can run only because you pay this contribution of 1.5% of your budget. So please sign the CLDs, which is the contract saying that you accept the terms of the competition and that you will comply with the payment of the 1.5% of this budget. I don't want to have to come back to you because you don't want to pay the 1.5% and so on. This is a clear requirement, and this is how CELTIC has been financed for the last 20, so let's say 19 years. The first 2 years were financed by the industry, but since we are running, the industry does not put money anymore, and the public authorities don't put money as well. So we are completely funded through this CELTIC contribution. So please make sure you accept those terms before you apply. The label decision, just a diagrammatic presentation of what I was saying. The time needed for our experts and the public authorities to review is between 6 and 8 weeks in total. There's a brokerage tool that you can already use now to attract over participants to your consortium. So there are different things. You can upload your project ID. Of course, not too detailed if you don't want to face competition by taking your ID, but be sufficiently, let's say, explaining what you want to do to attract companies, LTOs, academia still into your project. You can also share your expertise. So that means you want to be in a project, you don't have yourself an ID, but you want to participate to a project in this call, put your expertise, and people will be able to find you. You can search partners to collaborate with, and you can look at existing project IDs. That's the pendant of the left side, of course. So start now and upload your expertise or new project ID into the Brokerage tool. How you upload your project ID, you see this is what you need to fill in. I won't spend too much time on this. It's quite straightforward. Put your company name, and you can select a switch saying if you want your identity to be public or hidden in the presentation, meaning that you can put some details. It will be only seen by us. Only your ID will be there, and people will be able to contact you, but you don't put too many details public, but we need them on our side. You can submit your expertise, same thing here. And you just need to confirm that your profile and interest may be published. So fill in what you want to be visible, and we can work with it. The Brokerage tool, where you have an asterisk, there are mandatory fields. Proposal keywords are very useful because this is helping in searching for your topic. Identity management determines whether your name, telephone, and company name are shown in the project ID overview list or search results. The type of organization and country are always shown. The email address is never shown. Okay, so after submission of the CELTIC office will check and publish your project ID or your expertise. We will review what you have put there. And this is typically how you can search for a partner. You can search for a type of organization, for a specific country, and for specific keywords. Proposals and IDs, same. That's it. So, and you can contact us always at office@CELTIC-NEXT.eu. I will stop sharing and look to the chat maybe.
We have quite a lot of interesting questions. Yeah.
Okay, so I will go through the
Through
list.
them all. Yeah.
So starting from the top. Okay, so that's more introduction of the Loughborough University. So there's not a question. It's also an SME in Austria. So first step would be talking with our national public authority. Yes, this is the case. The slides will be available on the website. How about the brokerage event? We will come to this in the next presentation. What are the funding rates for research institutes? This is depending on the country. So that's why you need to contact the public authority. This is very dependent on the national authority, the country where you are. And those funding rates might depend on the funding scheme used in the country. So also because you might have differences between different funding schemes, and the public authority will guide you to the right funding scheme for your project there. For anyone interested in fintech, okay. Please put all those expertise proposals or ID proposals in the Brokerage tool. That will help a lot. Are the autumn call proposal submission labeled and announced? Not. The labeling meeting happened yesterday. I'm about to write the letters. So that's one thing. Lax, yeah, from where you get to participate. So same, you can put this in the Brokerage tool with your expertise, Lax. For anyone interested, we're okay. Does your chat? I've tried to send you a message, but could not receive from your side.
That's
okay. That's
them, yeah.
a one-to-one discussion. Okay. Is application to national funding bodies done after label decision in June, September? Start suggests that. Okay. This depends on the country. If you take Sweden, you need to, and this will be explained more in the Brokerage Day event. So in February, public authorities will be invited for some of them that will be available to explain their funding schemes. But we have also some downloadable previous presentations and so on from the previous calls. In Sweden, for example, you have to provide 6 or 8 weeks before you apply to CELTIC. You have to provide a project outline to the Swedish authority so that they can give you an early feedback. In some other countries, they start looking at your proposal at the national level once you get the label from CELTIC, because they rely more or less completely on the CELTIC experts' indications. So you need to speak with each project, each public authority of each country where your project is looking at being funded or running, to get their early feedback when they expect something from you before or after you apply for the label. And that was, just wait, I still have some questions here. Application to national funding bodies to be done before. So this is what you wrote, Audrey. So the 1.5 contribution to the CELTIC office can be put in the budget plan if the country accepts this, because some countries don't consider this fee as a how to say, a valid cost, not a valid cost, that's not the eligible cost, that's the right wording. Some countries accept it, some countries don't accept. Again, this is a detail you need to ask in the country where you are. We are trying to build a table for this, but it's difficult for now to get a complete table and tell you. So in some of the countries within the same consortium, in some of the countries, you will be able to do that. In some other countries, you won't be able to do that. But just to be clear, if you put 100,000 euro budget in a project, including the public funding, it's only 1,500 euro over the project life. That means if it's a 3 years project, your contribution for the 100,000 euro over the 3 years will be 500 euro per year. For this, you get a catalog of service, the expertise, the coaching, the tools. I didn't go to the tools, but you have access to web conferencing. You have access to a collaboration space with on the office tooling. You have access to several services, plus the fact that you are participating to the competition. It's a complete package. So the dissemination channels we provide, the access to many things that are included in this money. So if you look at, for let's say a unit of 100,000 euro investment in the project for the 3 years of the project, is 500 euro per year. So then will February 24th be online or physical? It will be physical. I'm not sure we can make hybrid. It will be physical and it will be in Barcelona, at the University of Barcelona. We will try to make it hybrid, but we will communicate about it later on. What is the maximum funding that can be applied for UK partners? Again, you need to ask the UK, but I think it's 750,000 per project. Pounds, if I remember well. But Ben Morris is the contact point, and Ben will explain that most probably in the next Brokerage event in February. But we have, I think, already some information on our website. Audrey, correct me if I'm wrong. And maybe you can put the link to the corresponding information so that people can have an early reading. But the best is to contact Innovate UK to get the exact conditions for his score. Okay, any question or answer, you can raise your hand if you want to speak, and we will answer your question before we go to the brokerage.
There is Peter.
Yes, hello. My name is Peter, and I'm from ESC Aerospace in Munich.
Yep.
My question: you mentioned that the evaluators will be from industry, and they can support the proposal writing. I think it was on one of the slides, or they can give advices to the proposals. Actually, I think that was the formulation.
Mm-hmm.
So my question is, how do we contact them, or how this is done? How we can get hints from them?
Okay, so our experts are not there to help you in writing the proposals. They are there once you get labeled. They evaluate your proposal. But we, the office, so you can contact me personally, directly. So prim@celtic-next.eu, our office, and we can give, and I can give you some indications in the form of writing. Of course, not the content. The content would be a conflict of interest because we would help certain candidates and not the others. So you understand, we cannot help you on the content. We can help you on the form and looking at if you are missing some information in your proposals that are important to make the evaluation in a good way and not penalizing you if you don't put them. So this is something we can help you with. But having experts looking over your shoulder and helping you writing your proposal, not. This is not something that we provide.
Okay, thank you.
In the terms of content, in the terms of form, the office can help you. Again.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Hello, may I have a quick question?
Yes, of course.
Thank you. I'm from UK university. So if the total budget we can apply for all UK partner is 750, do we have a requirement we must have an industry partner, an academic partner, and also we have a restriction about split of the funding, for example, 70 to the industry or 30 to the academic?
Yes, this is running through the national rules. And if I remember well, in Innovate UK, you have this split where a project can be funded if the academic part is less or equal to 30% of the funding for the project. So in that case, it would be 30% of 750k pounds. And you have to have an industrial partner there.
Okay, so we can confirm with the UK
yes.
point. Yeah,
yes. You. In fact, you have to understand that the CELTIC project is the assembly of several national projects which follow the national conditions. So the part of UK in the international project is following the Innovate UK rules.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So
maybe I share the banner.
Yeah, show the banner.
And the proposal brokerage day, see the question chat, will be just one day.
It will be, so just show the banner and I will explain at the same time.
And the presentation will be posted in a few minutes.
Yeah. So I could show something. Maybe I can. Okay, that's the launch event thing. I can maybe, yes, here. There are 3 times or periods during the brokerage day, the proposals brokerage day. I think I can just do that here. I will share my screen, Audrey.
Okay, yes, please.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I have a slide that can help. Okay, just one moment. I'm just looking for my screen here. Okay, so now share screen 1. Yes, I want to share, sorry, and I will put that in that way. Okay, so there are 3 important moments during a brokerage day. There's a part about conference where you have some keynote speakers and some high-level presentation. There's a pitching session where you can pitch your idea or pitch your competence to the present public. Don't look at the dates that are on this, like 6 March or whatever. This is a slide about a 2023 event. And then there's a brokerage and networking forum. So the day will start at 11 o'clock. This is what we determined even yesterday. So that's very fresh information. So it will be in Barcelona, University of Barcelona, and it will be starting at 11 o'clock, because it's a Monday, to leave time for people to arrive on the Monday morning if they don't want to travel on the Sunday. So, and it will run until 5:30 or 6 p.m. and it will have those 3 parts. So the conference, the pitching session, and the brokerage and networking forum. For the pitching session, we will indicate dates when you have to provide to my colleague, Christiane Reinsch, who is organizing this session, your pitch presentation. There will be a page dedicated on our website where you will be able to download the template and register to pitch your session. And then Christiane will contact you back and work with you on your pitching presentation. She will help you to design it the best way so that it is impactful and you can reach the audience with it. So this is, you see, one of the support that we are providing. The event is free of charge. I see the question in the corner of my screen. It's free of charge. So you just pay your accommodation and your travel to the session. Some countries, they support people traveling to our sessions. So again, you can contact them and ask them if they provide that support. UK is providing that. Canada wants to provide it, but it's too short term for the spring call. It will be for the autumn call, the financial support from Canada. And yeah, just contact your public authority to ask them if they are happy to support your costs to attend to the physical event. So pitching sessions, you will have 3 minutes of presentation, 3 minutes of question and answer per pitch, and it's really a pitch. So I think with that, I should have answered the question.
We will make all the explanation, all the details when it will be online. We will send a newsletter. So if you really don't want to miss it, I encourage you to subscribe to our newsletter. And by the end of the week or next Monday, when we will send it, you have all the news, all the application, and you could register then.
Is there any other question?
I see a new one just now. When you give a label to a proposal, will you provide improving points of left?
Yes, of course. So we always, when we write we'll write to you and send to you the decision of the labeling board, we provide you with a letter that is saying that you have reached the label, you need to make modifications, or you have not reached the label, and there is a detailed feedback that is given to you. So our experts, when they do the evaluation in our tooling, they provide, they have a very long template to fill in with looking at all the points that are assessed about your proposal, and they have to do a feedback. So I export this information into a PDF, and I attach this PDF to the letter with a decision. So even someone who gets a project that gets the full label directly gets some recommendations that are just light recommendations. So it's like indications, yeah, that would have been even better like that, for example. And you can take it or not into your product. When we ask for modifications, because it's a label with modifications, you have to comply with those requests if you want the label, so it's stronger. And if you are not labeled, you still get the feedback so that you can improve your proposal in the next call for application. So, and I see that Juana, hello Juana, I'm happy that you attended, and you will present the detailed information about Spain in the Brokerage event in Barcelona.
Yes, good morning. I don't know if you can you, okay. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. We have a new instrument from the Spanish side, so I really want to share this information with all the participants there. Thank you.
Yes, and this is also a good reason why we come to Spain for the Brokerage Day, because that's important to show that it is well acknowledged that you have this new instrument.
Yeah.
And thank you for this.
Thanks to you.
Okay. How can the presentation be done online in case one can't travel? We will check if with University of Barcelona if we can make it hybrid. What we will do probably is we will record the session on site and possibly make this video available afterwards, at least what we present. I'm not sure that your Q&A will be available in a recorded fashion, but we will try our best to make it hybrid. If not, and there will be a recording of what will be said and pitched. Any other question? If you meant presenter or can't travel. We will be connected with at least one laptop that will be connected to the audio. So we will possibly open a session like that. I meant for the people being remote to listen to the local discussions, to the presentations, it will be more difficult. But if you want to present remotely, this is possible. It's better if you are on site, but if you can't, we can accommodate you. But we want a maximum number of pitch sessions to be physically presented. But we can accommodate one or two remotely. Yes. If you are not successful in the spring call, you can resubmit in the autumn call. What I recommend usually is don't consider that those, let's say, events, so launch event or the brokerage event are just for the call being open, because we are quite regular in what we are asking. So the information of today is valid most probably for 95% in the autumn call. So if you feel that you are not able to provide a good enough, qualitative enough proposal for the spring call, don't waste your chance. Do it in the autumn call. It is also helping us because if we have a too high number of not mature enough proposals in a call, we are just exposing our experts to a high load of work with non-qualitative proposals. So it is welcomed that you wait for the next call. If you are satisfied with your proposal, you can apply, and if it's not accepted because it is missing things and so on, and the label is not given, or even with modification, you are not able within the 2 months to provide the correct answer, then you can reapply in the autumn call. And if it's the autumn call, in the next spring call and so on. That's partly the reason why we have 2 calls per year. It's giving more chances to people. If we don't get more questions, I think we can close the session.
Totally. I think we all round, and I just posted now the presentation online now.
Very good.
So
yeah, you are. Thank you to you if it is helping you doing your work, and you will apply, of course. So thanks a lot for your attendance, and looking forward to see you in the Brokerage Day in Barcelona, and if not, to see your proposals.
yeah, thank you everybody.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks a lot for attending. Goodbye. Oh.
Thank
See
you.
you, Juana,
Goodbye.
in Barcelona.
Yes, see you soon.
Yeah, see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.